Namaste. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Swaminarayan Gurukul, the Yoga University International. Let us start with the prayer. Close your eyes. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Keep your eyes closed. Experience the effect of prayer on your body and mind. Bring the smile on your face and gently open your eyes. Friends, maintain the smile throughout this day, throughout your day. Okay? So good morning all. Myself, Dilesh Sudhakar Belawani. I am a Managing Director of Sri Swaminarayan Gurukul, the Yoga University International. About university, we are formed on 18th May 2019 with the vision to propagate peace, happiness through yoga to the society. And with this motto, we have started the regular classes at our Kharigar branch. We started with teachers training courses to create a team of the professionals to serve the society. During this year, we got a lot of love on us. We able to touch the lives of approximately 2000 plus people through our regular classes, our teachers training courses, our online classes, our YouTube channel on which you all are currently there, the most popular the program which we had created, 21 Days Fit India program. Lot of love for people got for this program. It's all because of you friends. It's all because of your love and faith on us, because of which we able to reach to the 2000 plus people through these different means. And based on this, now we have started this new initiative where all these 7 days we are going to celebrate International E-Yoga Festival, where we invited, we asked, we requested the 14 eminent speakers to talk on various topics to get the maximized benefit to all. In the yesterday, you have heard the Param Pujya Sadguru Madhudasji Swami. And in the further session, we'll learn different theory plus practical classes. So today's our topic is yoga philosophy, a realistic way to apply it in our daily life. Friends, we'll start with a question first. Swami Vivekananda, everybody knows when the Swami Vivekananda name comes, when it strikes in our mind, all his achievements, all his work he has done for the society, the list of this comes in our mind, and he has done it very small age. His name is Narendranath. His journey from Narendranath to Swami Vivekananda, his turn, he has become from Narendranath to Swami Vivekananda only because of one question. That question is, have you seen the God? It's a very simple question. Have you seen the God? His inquiry starts on this question. And through his journey to search to find the answer on this question, he has turned from Narendranath to Swami Vivekananda. He has become a global person, unforgettable the centuries. His work, his literature, his all the characteristics, all his life journey is a teaching for each and every youth, each and every person, each and every citizen who want to live a good life. So friends, Narendranath becomes Swami Vivekananda. Have you seen the God? Let me ask you based on today's session is based on the one question only. That question is, have you practiced yoga daily? Once again, the question is, have you practiced yoga daily? If we go on searching the answer of this daily basis, we have a potential to become a Swami Vivekananda. We have potential to become an eminent global person to serve the society. We have potential to bring the happiness to the people who are suffering. We get the potential to convert the miserliness in the people's mind, in the people's life, to turn this into a good life, a happier life, a blissful life. We get the potential to convert our current young generation to a global citizens, the positivity, the society and everything. This much potential we get if the answer is yes to the question, have you practicing yoga daily? And today's session, the yoga philosophy, a realistic way to apply in our daily life is the answer to this question, and we'll try to unfold this in very simple and very easiest manner as much as we can. So friends, are you ready for this wonderful journey? Have you practicing yoga daily to find the answer to this, and we'll get the answer of this today's session also, the yoga philosophy, a realistic way, a realistic approach to apply in our daily life. So let us begin with the yoga. First, we'll clarify the concept of yoga first. What is yoga? If we ask this question, we get lot of different definitions mentioned in the different scriptures. Some may have their own interpretation, that is well and good. But the question again remains the same. What is yoga? Should we call it yoga or should we call it yoga? International Yoga Day. I am practicing yoga daily. No. You are not practicing yoga daily. You are not celebrating International Yoga Day. You are celebrating International Yoga Day. You are practicing daily yoga. What is yoga? Not yoga. First, we'll clear this misconception. So, what is yoga? Let me give you some situations and you try to answer on this situation to call that person a yogi or not. Okay? First situation. The person is practicing daily asanas, only asanas, nothing else. Can we call that person a yogi? Or can we call that person is practicing yoga? Or can we call this as a yoga? Situation number one. Person practicing asanas daily. Situation number two. The person is there, in his house is there on the path where many travelers, hundreds of travelers pass from or in front of his road through their journey by walk. He used to serve them a food, he used to serve them water as much as his capacity without asking any fees or so and so forth. Just serving them. But he is not practicing asana, he is not practicing pranayama, he is not practicing meditation. Can we call such person a yogi or practicing yoga? Situation number two. Situation number three. A housewife is there. She's taking care of family. She's taking care of kids. She is fully dedicated herself to the welfare of her family. Can we call that lady as a yogi? Situation number four. The person who is not practicing anything, just following a truthfulness. He is following the path of truthfulness, nothing else. Can we call such person a yoga? Or can we call this as a yoga? Situation number five. person is very much devoted to his particular god. He's serving everything. All the time he's chanting the name of the god. He's delivering all the required rituals to be done for the god. But he's not practicing asana, pranayama, meditation at all. Can we call such person? Or situation number 7 or 6. I forgot the numbers, but you understand. Person who is PhD in yoga, masters in yoga, he has a certificate, but himself not practicing yoga, but teaching a class, but taking a classes. Can we call such person yogi? Or can we call this is the yoga? Person who is very much excellent, he's following daily yoga, asana, pranayama, meditation, but he doesn't have a degree of MSc, Masters, or PhD, so forth. Can we call such a person a yogi or yoga? So these are the different scenarios which almost covers everything which we look at our surrounding. So can we call this as a yoga or not? Answer you have to give. I am not going to give the answer. So answer these questions after the session, and because we should never be judgmental about anything. If we say that person is yogi or not, it is wrong. Let us see how. We first will understand what is yoga. Yujjate anena iti yoga, the simple definition of yoga. Yoga means about binding or joining the things. Then what is yoga? Means joining or binding of what? Let us start one by one. Two bones are there. Okay, they are joined by the joint. There are different kinds of joints, synovial joint, pivot. I am not going to different types. Just we say the simple joint, both bones are joined together in our body. If the joint is not good or it is slightly fatigued, can the movement will happen? Some restrictions will happen. We may not able to walk. We may not able to, or we will have pain throughout the day if the joint is not perfect. If you stick any two objects, if the stick is not good, the glue is not good, it's not good quality, it will separate. So yoga is a philosophy, is a technique to join this together, the different aspects. It could be opposites, it could be similars, but joining together is a yoga. Both bones are joined together to keep these bones in aligned position with the help of asanas is the yoga. The life force which is passing from a body, because of which we are alive, which differentiates the alive person from the dead body, that pranic force, that life force, the main are the panchapranas, prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, adarupa prana, to binding, to bring them together is yoga. That is done with the help of pranayama practices. The mind has to be focused. The thought patterns has to be binded together, not allowing mind to rush towards the things. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, all these antarayas to bring together, keep it together is yoga. Differentiating the things, what is real and what is unreal. Real things are permanent in our life. Unreal things are temporary. So which other things are temporary? Houses, trees, animals, humans, human body. Differentiating the things real and unreal, and to bring this real and unreal, to maintain this real and unreal together is yoga. My soul is real. My body is a dead body. It's going to be dead. It has 70, 80 years life. But bringing the soul and body together and keeping them harmoniously together is a yoga. And the final understanding of yoga is that to absorb yourself into complete silence, where everything gets shunned. You all the way absorb in that blissful state, you able to remain happy throughout a day, throughout the life, throughout the year, not getting affected from any kind of external factors. Is yoga. That is the yoga. This is how yoga helps to bind the things, to bring the things, to combine the things together. We should not limit the definition of definition of yoga to only asana, to only pranayama, only meditation. No, this is not yoga. Yoga is known as a practical science. It is not a theoretical science. And that is why you teach, you preach what you learn. Don't teach, don't preach what you don't learn or don't practice. Yoga is absolutely practical science. The person who is experienced in this sphere is having authority to teach the people, to teach the society, to teach the world. Now yoga, there is one aspect of yoga, that is Raja Yoga we call, which is comprised of Patanjali Yoga. Swami Vivekananda has made 4 major streams of yoga: Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So following Yama, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, this is the one called as a Raja Yoga. Karma Yoga, performing a selfless actions, serving the people without having any selfish motive, is called as Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, devotion to the highest, to the supreme. It's not about only sitting in the temple and staying there 24 hours. It is not like that. Whatever activities you do, surrender that activities to the highest. It's because of you I am able to do this activity. Otherwise I could not. This thinking at the back of the mind is a Bhakti Yoga. Jnana Yoga. It talks about what is real and what is unreal. Be able to understand the real essence of the life. Why humans are born, why we are born. What is the difference between humans and animals? Is a Jnana Yogi. And people can practice all these streams individually or practice all these 4 streams together and get the real and can become like Swami Vivekananda. It is not that he has put up as a higher standard, because he was a common man like Narendranath. Have you seen God? This question has made him to become a Swami Vivekananda. Have you practiced yoga? Can take you to that level that is 100% real. And we have many examples of this who have attained such stages. We have done. Some people are there. If you look at it, if you observe their personality, if you observe their behavior closely, you're able to understand. Some people are being known to the society, some people yet to be discovered by the society, because such peoples are difficult to find because they don't expose themselves through the media and all. They just remain isolated from the society, but remain in the society without any kind of advertisement or expound that I am this, I am that. Come to me and I will preach you. The realism, no, it's not their nature. Because the yogis those who understand the things, they never have an ego because they understand whatever I'm able to achieve this time, this life is because of who I am. This body is a dead body. This is Dilesh. Why this Dilesh? Why? How long Dilesh will be there? After Dilesh gone, one person will come. But what he has done his lifetime, that is important. Money earned, property earned, name earned, fame earned, will be unreal. What is going to be with you? What is real for you? How much you have gone inside, how much inside world you have explored. That is going to be lifetime. And that is why the yoga is said by Maharshi Patanjali is a yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta is not a physical thing. Chitta is a medium through which consciousness functions on our whole body. And this chitta has to be established always in the blissful state, in the silent state. But because of the external world, because of the connection with the external world, this chitta gets entangled with it. And chitta slowly lost the consciousness about what is real, and he turned towards the society, the external factors, and he merged with it. And that is because of the avidya, we call this as ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance that this is because all this maya is because of the Vanapurusha, the real soul. The forgetfulness of this is called as avidya. So, let us see the example. The kid is there. The kid, when it is 4 or 5 years old, he has some playing instruments. He plays a lot of small instruments. What he does when he becomes a school child at 9th standard, he gives up his instrument and he plays some different sports activities like kabaddi, cricket, and so on. As he ages ahead and he develops different activities, he develops different thinking pattern by giving up the previous activities. He does not bring this together. I will do this, and no. To go inside, you have to go away from the consciousness, from the external world. You have to detach your consciousness from the external world to move into inside. You could not at a time remain external as well as internal. Until and unless you give up your external things, give up external things doesn't mean to giving up the money and so no, it is not like that. Giving the external thing, the mind engagement with the external things, like I have this activity to do, that activity to do, this work, that work, I have to go into hospital, I have to go to the office. Take out time. We are not 24 hours engaged in the external world. Take certain time from the external world. Give it to yourself to explore yourself inside. The techniques are developed to move from external world to inside world is a yoga. That is yoga's chitta. To bring the chitta to this inner consciousness, to understand the reality, to take away the lead of the ignorance is yoga. And nirodha, vritti means modification. Modifications means what? Dinesh, now you have grown up, you have to do this activity, you have to take the responsibility of the family, responsibility of your children, or responsibility of your people around you. You have to take care of this, take care of that. Okay, I am going to take care of everything. Plus, I have this work. Plus, I have extra work which is going to be permanent from the start till the end is exploration of my inside. This is your permanent task, has to be done daily along with performing all these external activities. And that one activity which takes you from external to inside is called yoga. And it's not only because of and that activity which takes you from external to internal depends on which technique you are going to use. Are you going to use asana? Are you going to use pranayama, meditation, or following karma yoga, or following bhakti yoga, or following raja yoga? It depends on you. It depends on your characteristics. How is the personality is made up of? For example, if I have to go from Mumbai to Delhi, I have many options. I can take a flight, I can take a railway option, I can go by road, or I can go some other means which are available. It doesn't mean air travel is good or rail travel is bad or road travel. No. It depends on us which is convenient for us to move from Mumbai to Delhi. In a similar manner, the different techniques has been developed which takes your chitta from external world to inside world, and that is the yoga. So don't become judgmental about this thing that person practicing karma yoga inferior to Raja Yogi. No, it is not like so. Because every person's constitution is different. His mindset is different. His emotional level is different. And as per his convenience, he can select any topic. Okay, friends. So this is about the yoga, and this is a certain philosophy of yoga is based on this only. How to move, how to explore inside world with different means is explained in the yoga. So how to practically imbibe this? Because I am householder, agree. I have family, agree. I have kids, agree. I have education. I have to take care of everything, the health and everything. Yes, of course. That is your responsibility, or we call this as your karma yoga. Karma yoga is this only selfless activity. Do not move away from this, go into forest and do meditation. No, this is not for you. This is only for those who have from inside decided to become a sannyasi. Let us clarify these differences. Who is greater, sannyasi or the household? Friends, nobody, as I said, nobody is inferior, nobody is superior. Air travel takes you 2 hours to Delhi. Rail travel takes you to for whatever times it takes, 7-8 hours, 9 hours. I don't know exactly, but let's more time than the air travel. Road will take more time than the train travel. But are they inferior? Every traveling mode has different experience. If I go for air, I don't experience what is in between Mumbai, that I don't see anything. When I go by the train, I see different junction, different states, areas surrounding. I can explore the food in between. If I go by the road, I able to understand the people around it, what different kind of costumes and everything they have wore. I can spend some time, I can wait for their certain time. So every mode has its own beautiful senses. So can we say air travel is better than the road? No. In a similar manner, sannyasis would take the sannyas are different from the householders, but it is based on the inner constitution of yours, which path you have selected. By being householder also, you have potential to become Swami Vivekananda. By becoming a sannyasi also, you have become a potential to become a Swami Vivekananda. So don't think that yoga is only for the sannyasis or yoga is only a spiritual science. This is absolutely wrong. Okay, so what I was talking about, imbibing this yogic philosophy in our daily life. How? I am a householder, do this all activity as a karma yogi without having I am taking care of my children, I am taking care of my wife, I am having a responsibility. If I gone, what will they will become mysterious? Who you are. Who you are. You are alive is because of the someone. If that is gone, your body will become dead. Absolutely. You are not taking care of your family. Through you, it is taking care of the family. Understand this thing. By understanding this thinking, because of the highest, the life forces within who is under the governance of the highest, I able to go for the job. I able to the all my responsibilities. It's because of you, not because of I. Who you are. It's a just 80-90 years body. That's it. So by having such feeling in your mind, if you do all the duties, and these are the duties assigned to you, why should I do the duty? What benefit I will get? This is a general question. Yes, absolutely. You should have such question. Why should I behave like Karma Yogi? Now current thing which we understand, everyone, why we want to become engineer, become a doctor, vakil and so forth. If you look at the current answers, to earn a money. I am going to become a doctor, I am going to serve the people. If you want to become a doctor, why are you charging highest fees? So you have an inside motto behind this social service, and that is okay, because as a human being, our nature is selfishness. Nobody can deny that I am not a selfish. Everyone is, that is a human essential nature. The way we have got hand, we have got legs, we have got eyes, in a similar manner, in the mind level, we have taken this selfishness. So particular person has his own selfish principles, like engineering, doctor, but money is there. With the money, I can have a big house, I can have family, I can take care of my mother, with hospital charges, everything will be fine if I earn more money. Correct? In a similar manner, the Karma Yogi is, what should I get? What is the benefit out of this? By doing this, you will find a real happiness. You will not become miserious. You will not become disturbed. You will not become frustrated. You will not have anxiety. You will be free from the stress. Now tell me, if you look at the current understanding, current perspective, as a generation by generation, century by century is increasing, today's people, more than 50, I can say 60 to 70 people per people are facing through mind related problem. All the lifestyle diseases, many experts are now in this direction that all these lifestyle diseases are because of the mind. The stress is the root cause of many kind of ailments. So friends, if you become a follow this path, if you look at don't go beyond this highest understanding. Let's take a simple understanding. Currently we say the people in the US are the richest, the drivers of goes through the car. This is the lifestyle of, so they are absolutely wealthy and everything. But still, the most mental related issues are more into America. Materialistic wealth, spiritual wealth are different. Right now we are running for the materialistic way. Of course, this materialistic way going good. As a householder, you should opt for it. You should not reject. You do all your duties, you do your works 14, 15, whatever hours you want to do to get a materialistic wealth, but you should not neglect the spiritual wealth. Because of lack of spiritual, people are turning towards negativity. The racism effect, the casteism, the violence, everything is because of mind is not. If you look at many people who are doctor, highest professionals, but somehow they are mentally very, very weak. Intolerance, the fighting, sexual harassment, a lot of cases are happening. With sharp mind, intellectually, the materialistic way sharp, but spiritually lack, such persons are most dangerous for the society. They can do much more harm than the good, and that we have seen time to time. I will not name the particular persons, but if you look at such persons' life stories, some organizations are there who are spreading violence, terrorisms. They have very good strength, but if they utilize that strength to help the weaker people in society, that would be good. But their mind is very much weak. And that's why many countries, many poor countries, underdeveloped countries are facing a lot of issues because of this weak-minded but strongly materialistic peoples. And that is where the yoga comes. Yoga allows you, it gives you the most spiritual understanding and to imbibe in a practical. So this is how the karma yogis should do when they go for the household duty, but keeping in this mind. If you follow, because as the parent behaves, same that the kid behaves. The sanskars we call, India is known for the sanskar. That's why the people of India, we have family, big families and so much things here, because of the spiritual wealth is inherited by our rishis and others. So it's very interesting and you enjoy your life, because people are right now stress, ignorance, frustration, anxiety, so more, many. People have lost the smile on their face. A lot of people. What is this? The face is there, have a smile. What happened if you don't smile? What is there in it? So people have this tendency. This tendency to, no, you should keep smiling. Why to sad? Enjoy each and every moment, each and every second of your life, because this is not going to come back. Utilize it in such a way that every second of your life will be a lesson for the people. The way Swami Vivekananda has utilized each and every act is followed by the people like us. Everyone is following his principles. Why? It's because of this. Okay, friends. So this is how about the externally we should not give up any external activity which we are currently doing. Along with it, we have to spend some time for the inward journey. What we do external activity like job and this thing, but we spend some time for the WhatsApp, at least 1 hour. We spend some time for the Facebook. We spend some time for watching TVs and movies. And I am not saying stop it. You do it. If you have time for those things, at least give 5 minutes. At least give 10 minutes. Depending on the time factor, you can select the practices which is good for you. You can select asana, you can select pranayama, you can select meditation, you can follow bhakti yoga, Raj yoga. Lot of ways we have. Select any of this and see the magic in the life. Your life itself will become inspiration to all. The best example is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. His life, his activity, his everything is now followed by the kids, but children. And that is these people, because of such greatest people. It's not about APJ Abdul Kalam. There are many such APJ Abdul Kalams are there. I am saying some people are in the limelight, some people are still not in the limelight. But because of such people, the countries are growing and developing. So, this is how we can follow the yoga philosophy in our daily life, in our daily routine, without disturbing it. So, now onward, what I should do. Now I understood yoga, what is yoga, how yoga acts, how yoga behaves, and so on and so forth. How I can apply in my daily life if I want to be like Swami Vivekananda, or I have ambition to be useful for the society. Correct? So, for this, it's a very simple way. First, identify and introspect yourself. This is the first step. Introspection. If you don't introspect yourself, If you don't introspect yourself, the rest thing is not possible. That is why, if we look at the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, first chapter is about introspection. He has done, and that's why the Bhagavad Gita has been told. We have to understand our weaknesses. We have to understand our strength. We have to understand our nature. First thing to do, introspect. Spend 1 day, 2 days, 3 days in a week, but understand yourself, who you are, what is your nature. Being like a neutral person. Don't think, no, I'll take good things about me. I don't know weakness in me. No, like a third person point of view, observe yourself. You will find a strength and weaknesses. This is the first step. Second step, how much I am engaging in the external activities. Find out this. Third, how much time I spend uselessly, under which comes all social media activities, under which comes TV and other things, which is not so relevant, which is not so productive for you. Fourth, how much time I can give up, not give up, I can give to now move from myself, from external to internal. This is the fourth step. And fifth step, select the way. How is my personality is developed up? Is it I am a more karma yogi kind of, or more I am Raja yogi kind of, or more I am Bhakti yogi kind of person? Or you can combine them together. So it's not about simple. We can combine any of these two. So after having this Panchashila, we call it, or Pancha Pranas, we call it, Pancha Mahabhutas, Pancha Principles, we may call it. Imbibe this. After following these 5 steps, your life becomes very, and you will experience, I am very much sure, you are going to experience it in a week. Even in a day, you will find a change in your personality if you follow this. If anyhow, if you have any query, or did you understood, or you find no result at all, I am again repeating, if you don't find any result at all, this is a channel you have. Mostly my email ID's number is there with you. If you don't have, you can note it down also, that is also fine. My number is 8355845030. You can send to me message in personal. I am there to help you out. Because when we go for the path of the yoga, we need a guidance. Without guidance, we could not proceed. There are some simple ways, as I said, 5 ways of simple way you can select. The fifth, as you go for selecting the practices, if I select, I am going to follow Raja Yoga, Asana, Pranayam, meditation, I will follow it. Okay, decide to follow it. But practice under the expert. Now, expert means what? The person who has PhD, the person who has masters? No, they are not expert, they are academic professionals. If you want to really get the benefit, if you want to really start your practice, you have to practice under the person who has practical experience of it. Those who is practicing daily asana, learn the asana from that person. Who is daily practicing pranayam, learn the pranayam from that person. Those who are daily practicing meditation, learn from the person. Those who are really following practically Bhakti Yoga, learn under that person. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. Like I have to learn history subject, I'm learning under geography teacher. Am I going to get success? Geography teacher has some knowledge, but she doesn't have practical experience of teaching of it. She could not explain the terms which you want to understand. So friends, practice, select any path of the yoga and do it under the expert guidance who is practicing daily basis by themselves, not just having academic degrees. In yoga science, in yoga philosophy, degrees have no values. But in today's century, um, for livelihood, a lot of people are doing degrees, and that is okay because it's livelihood. This is the current situation, the generation, the everything is happening. Education is based on the degrees and all. That is fine. But along with that criteria, you should follow a teacher who is having a practical experience. They have practiced by themselves on daily basis. And this is about one aspect of technical learning. Latest aspect, the more important is mind. There are many teachers, or you find many persons, they're expert in asana. They're able to complicate asanas very easily. Some people are very much effective in pranayama and meditation. But as they interact with the society, their behavior is slightly arrogant. You'll experience the sense of ego and the I-ness. Can we call such people a yogi? Answer by yourself. So, friends, of course, humbleness is one of the greatest quality of such people. Some people are very strict, as we have seen in the school. Some teachers are very strict about the students. You should do homework or else I will punish you. That strictness is required because the motive behind it is that the children should grow mentally in that subject. That was the intention. But some people behave arrogantly with the society. They criticize the people that your technique or practice is wrong with intention is that I am the greater than that person. I know much better than him. This intentional persons are known as arrogant. Not the teacher who is outside strict with the intention of development of the child. That person is not, although he is strict. His language is strict. He gives the punishment, but motive is there. If our motive is I am greatest, I know everything, that is arrogant. Okay, friends. So, those people who are great yogis or who are practicing yoga, such people are very much humble, very much compassionate, kind, love. These qualities you can see in their life. Although they have tremendous knowledge, but they live very simply. So practice under such people. That is the most beneficial for all of us to get that quality. Because the way we see the school teachers, they become our inspiration. We try to follow them. So that is why selection of the ideal person is again very much important to imbibe this philosophy. If I want to become an engineer, select an ideal person who is the greatest in the engineering world. Along with this, as I said, strong mind is there in intellectually, but along with it, that spiritually his nature has to be very much compassionate, full of love, full of empathy. And such two qualities together, such people are very rare, who are very much strong intellectually, logically, but weak in this. Some people are very good in strong in spiritualities, but weak in intellectuality. Yoga is about bringing this to, and those who master this are very, very rare, extremely rare. So people says the purpose of yoga is of course samadhi, self-realization is there, but it doesn't mean I should not, because yoga is for spirituality. So yoga does not work on physical level, it does not work on mental level. I just want to lose my weight. I can offer you exercise, I can go for the gym, nothing wrong, they will reduce. It is okay. But yoga give? Yeah, of course. Yoga gives this result. How? Again, take the example Mumbai to Delhi. My train is there, Mumbai to Delhi. In between, some stops has to be, it doesn't go directly Mumbai to Delhi, it has to take 1-2 halts, okay? Like Surat and other halt it has to take in between the road to Delhi. Some people want to get up at station A in between Mumbai and Delhi, and some people able to visit Delhi. So in the journey of yoga, like Mumbai is the beginning. For example, any session, I'm taking Mumbai as an example as a beginning, Delhi is the end. Those who want to weight loss can drop as a journey ahead. Those who want to get away from diabetes, blood pressure, and so forth, these are the stops. And those who want to attain samadhi, that is self-realization, can go further. Those who don't want, they have to stop in between from Mumbai to Delhi. Stop, take a stop. Once you stop, drop down, get up, and do your activity. But those who want to go for self-realization, they have. So yoga is not only for the spiritual person or for sannyasis. No, at all. Yoga is about for practical people, for householders, all kind of householders. If you want weight loss, strength building, the blood pressure, diabetes, whatever you have, ailments, all this can be relieved with the practice of yoga as a complementary medicine. Once you got your solution, drop down. Or if you want have more interest to move inside, you can go ahead. So friends, this is the time has come. Like we have seen 16th century, 17th century is known as Industrial Revolution. This is the time to go for spiritual revolution. Dr. Nagendra, the Chancellor of Esrasa University, always says this. Now India has to take a lead in a spiritual revolution. So Britain is known for industrial revolution, India should be spiritual revolution. Means what? Not about become sannyasis. It's about time has come to become mentally strong, to become more compassionate, to become humble, to bring back the humanity again. Let us help each other. Let us be a part of people's happiness and how I can be helpful for the miserly people, for the poor people. That is what we have to do. This revolution we have to bring in. For that, everyone, first of all, we have to become ourselves developed first. Let's renovate our character, renovate the way we renovate our houses at frequent basis. In the similar manner, we have to renovate our physical body first. Practicing asanas to clear, as I said, alignment, bringing all the body parts into alignment and posture alignment and everything. So we will not have musculoskeletal related disorders like back pain and so on and so forth. After having this, let us go and balance my pranic energy level. Let us balance my prana, which is there in my body, my life force, regulate freely into my body. From let us develop, the step next is about developing my mind. I have to make my mind very much calm and focused. Do not become a slave of my sense organs. Not to become a slave of the frustration, of the stress and the external factors which are having potential to harm. Let us develop ourselves more further to create this discriminative power between the real and the unreal and to make them join together. And finally absorb ourselves into absolutely silence. So this is our journey we have to follow, and there is no, we don't have to spend 24 hours for, no. As per take your time, as per your time duration, you can continue. And each and every activity of ours, each and every action of ours have potential to become a yoga or to have a principle of yoga. How? Let me tell you now. I am speaking currently. Okay, I'll start with my ears. Now ears function of ears, what to listen to things. What should I listen? The bad things, negative things. You know what, Dilesh? The person called you foolish, he talks, he praises you a lot in front of you. When you go away, they backstab me. Okay, years I told this. Okay, the person has like this. I'll see him next class. I will do something for him. Who has disturbed the state of your mind? Yes. Okay, that person has told me like this. It's okay. Has he told me? No. He has complained about my mind. But that mind is mine? Mind is not mine. Thoughts, all these are there from something. Because this body is not mine, I don't have if this body is mine, if this body is my property, I should have whole control of my body. I should make my skin as it is till the end of my life. If this is as with this mobile is my property, I take care of mobile every time. When to change the apps and this thing and everything, to update the software, everything done by me. Are you doing anything with the body? No. Your body automatically starts, the skin automatically starts becoming dull, your hair starts becoming slowly grey. Nothing is in your hands. So are you the owner of your body? No. So why to say, okay, it's told me, but not me? That should be like, okay, it's okay. There is no requirement to always answer to everyone. If you are true to yourself, with your body, with your intention, no need to explain to anyone. It reflected in your behavior, it reflected in your emotion, it reflected in your personality. If you go on responding each and everyone, you will engage yourself more in this external activity and you won't have much time to go inside. And this is the secret of this great personality. Swami Vivekananda did not when each and every individual, let us have a debate. No. He's not interested. When the platform he gets, he speaks on it. So this is the beauty of the yogis which we have to imbibe in our mind, in our behavior. So this is about ears. When the eyes, what to watch to guys, movies to watch, or films to watch, documentary to watch, what? All these sense organs have different activities and depends on us what to see, what not to see. Taste, very much foodie, food, which kind of food to be eaten, again important. As we know, a lot of problems, disorders are because of this food. Taste, more sweetened food, more sugary food, you are going to fall sick. And that is century by century. People's immunity are decreasing. People are falling sick all the time currently because of bacteria, virus and all. Why? Because immunity has lowered down, because of the food pattern has changed. If food pattern has not changed, if the mental constitution is strong, nothing is going to affect you. So this are the different ways through which we able to deliver the society, and it's very simple way we have to. So to summarize today's session, the question is, have you practicing yoga daily? Question this daily to yourself and you will get answer. If answer is yes, 100% sure you are going to become a helpful person for the society. Ask this question. Have you been practicing yoga daily? Second, every activity you eat, eating a food, eating a talking, or always keep in mind this is not there's something highest person, because of him I'm able to doing this. So this is the way your chitta, as I told you, always imbibe. Although you are engaged in the external activities, but by surrendering those actions to him, to the highest, you are absolutely tuned to the highest. This is how you can imbibe this principle 24 hours to the form of Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana. It depends on you. And do this under the expert guidance. Expert guidance, again as I said, those who have practice of it, those who practice it daily on a basis, only such person, not from the academic persons. Okay friends, so hope you understood, and from today onwards itself, You will go on following, going to imbibe these yogic principles daily in your life to make ourselves a good citizen of the country. Again, for this, I would like to thanks to all those who have watched, who have bared me for an hour. It's very challenging to 1 hour to just see a person and to listen to the things which he explained. But I'm thank you so much for all of you being having patience, because patience the key, again, good quality of the highest person to become a potential person. So thank you for bearing me for this 1 hour. Hope try to understand each and every card. If you don't understand anything, rewind this video going to be there, rewind it and ask yourself, check yourself. If you're still having any doubt, my number is there. You can directly message me. My number is 8355845030. My email ID is there, dileshs.telwane@gmail.com, or you can have our university Gmail ID also, the yogauniversity.khargar@gmail.com. I would like to thanks to everyone who has great love and faith on us. During this year, we got very grand success. It's because of your love. I would like to thanks to all my teachers, all my gurus, to whom I able to learn something, not up to their level, so that I can able to deliver the society the messages which they have taught to me. I would like to thank all the teachers and gurus. It's difficult to name a single person, but such teachers and gurus know that his or her name is there in my list. Thanks to everyone again watching to me. Thanks to Sanjay Jadeja, the founder and CEO of Sri Swaminarayan Gurukul, the Yoga University International. Because of his initiative, we able to run this 1 year very successfully. He was stood like a strong backbone. He never asked anything. For every new initiative, every new program, he says yes, never said no. That's the greatest quality of his. Again, the thanks to our team, Sohela Akbar, Rashmi Badodekar, those who are with me, bearing me, still bearing me, they are going to bear me, and very wonderfully helping hands for me, and they are also doing very tremendous work. You are going to share their videos also, and you'll understand their potential, and they're very kind persons and very down to earth, and teaching quality is excellent. Along with it, I would like to thank Parimal Solanki. He is being a technical savior to us, creating YouTube channel, the YouTube videos, uploading, all the technical thing, editing the videos, everything be managed by him. His great contribution to a university. Thanks to him. Again, thanks to Jivraj sir, because to run any organization need to finance. He's being a venture capitalist for the university and Swaminarayan Gurukul Parivar. I would like to thank him also. And I would like to thank all of you, because it's very difficult to name each and every individual. Some people's name, if I have missed out, is because of my memory loss. So excuse me for that. And thanks to all and everyone, and all the best to all of you for starting your new journey into yoga. And I'm pretty much sure that you are going to enjoy your journey. And whatever help you require, I am there. My team is there to help you a lot. Thank you and namaste.